That nightmare hack attack on the Colonial Pipeline Company in the headlines recently, it is throwing a spotlight on the rising problem of these cyber crimes here and around the world.
Yeah, we have one global study that put the hefty price tag at nearly $1 trillion in recent years. Here now, ABC's Alex Presha with our deep dive into those corporate ransomware payments and the high cost for all of us.
Certainly, you've seen the headlines.
We begin tonight with the growing concern across this country after that massive cyber attack.
The effects of the Russia-based ransomware attack are being felt up and down the East Coast.
Colonial Pipeline, the victim of a devastating ransomware attack. Its effects passed down to the consumer through gas shortages and panic buying. But how did we get here? First, you have to understand what ransomware is.
Ransomware is the deployment of malware, malicious software, into a corporate environment that encrypts all of the data.
Hackers will then only decrypt that data if the original owners pay up, often through cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin.
It's a digital ransom.
It's exactly what it is. It's not very different from kidnappings and extortions.
It's also encouraged these hackers to focus on critical infrastructure. Dr. Mark Memo's urology practice in Northeast Ohio got hit in 2019. He says the hackers wanted $24,000 in Bitcoin. His IT firm paid the ransom, but Memo estimates the ordeal still cost his practice about $150,000 in back bills, lost business, and rebuilding security. It also impacted his patients.
And we had patients that were in the middle of cancer treatments that we had to delay. Because we couldn't verify the data, we couldn't verify the medications they needed.
According to the National Cyber Investigative Joint Task Force, there are 3 common ways these ransomware attacks happen: phishing campaigns, remote desktop protocol vulnerabilities, and software vulnerabilities. Many of these attacks come from organized crime groups operating out of Russia, as well as North Korea, China, and Iran. Ransomware attacks first got on the radar of many in 2017. The WannaCry worm is estimated to have infected more than 200,000 people around the world, victims often paying between $300 and $600 in Bitcoin to unlock their data. But since then, these attacks have increased and evolved. A report by the Center for Strategic and International Studies in McAfee estimates the worldwide cost for cybercrime at almost $1 trillion between 2018 and 2020.
Unfortunately, those payments encourage these organized crime groups to continue.
The FBI warns against paying these ransoms, especially ransoms to sanctioned hackers. It issued an advisory to companies that engage with ransomware attack victims of the potential sanctions they could face for facilitating ransomware payouts.
They'd rather deal with the government saying they did something wrong than deal with an organized crime group who has just ended the existence of their company.
Cities have also fallen victim, including New Orleans. In December of 2019, a city employee opened the wrong email at work, a phishing attack. Kimberly LeGroux is the city's chief information officer. The city opted to rebuild its system instead of pay up. LeGroux says New Orleans spent about $1.5 million recovering the data from old backup files and another $5.2 million rehabbing their digital infrastructure.
This is almost like hurricane. You get prepared because you see the bad weather coming.
Some elected officials have advocated legislation requiring companies to share information with the government when attacks happen. But ultimately, experts say these companies will have to reevaluate how they operate.
Companies are responsible for protecting themselves against nation states, against organized crime groups, which is very different from what we see in the physical world.
Alex Presha, ABC News, Washington.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.